All right. Make sure we sound good. Let me make sure we sound good first. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. I don't remember which mic setting I typically would use. It looks right though, because this was default. So I think we're all set up. We're good to go, man. But let me know. Today, I just wanted to go live. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. I didn't know when to do one, but I'm like, let's just do one today. This Jared Goff thing popped up. Actually, it didn't just pop up. It's actually been out for a few days. But I reacted to it today for Bleacher Report. And so I was like, this is a good excuse to go live. Just something to look at. So we'll expand on a little bit over here and just kind of chat for a little bit. I did pull some plays just because, like, I don't know. I'm like a little. It's just been too long, man. I need something to look at. So I just pulled some plays that we're gonna watch for fun too. Just kind of react to some stuff. Just like as a refresher, I get a little bit, not a lot, just a few. So, but this is interesting, man. This was a Pro Football Focus article, and like they had reasons for why they ranked like they did, but then when you look at the rankings, it doesn't really match up with the reasons, which is fine. Actually, here, you know what the reality is, man? It's 16th. Okay, you're gonna see he's ranked 16th. I'm not mad about this. Like, I didn't read it and get fired up. There is one. Okay, take that back. There is one guy that's above him that I'm like, I don't get it. You got to make this make sense because I don't understand it. But for the most part, I'm cool with it. You know, like, would I rank up 16? No. Okay, I think that's crazy. But it's more so an opportunity just to look at some of the advanced stats that PFF has for him for last year, which I think is kind of fun to just dive into those things. And again, just kind of get us hyped up for this year. Plus, I have that little bout of money on Jared Goff winning the MVP, just a little bit, you know. So like, hey, let's build up the hype now. And then, you know, as we get closer here, training camp stuff like that's around the corner. But anyways, let me see who's in the chat real quick. And then we'll just jump right into it. Lion. Okay, I saw you change your name to Lions Debate Talk. It threw me off when I first saw it. I got the notification. I was like, who is this guy? So I see you changed your name. It's good to see you in the chat. 16th. I know Goff struggled with the old line of 25 and threw some picks. But 16, yeah. Let's at worst put him at 10. Okay, I like that. We're gonna dive into this. This will be fun. Haters, what's up, Jordy? I see you. Whoever ranked the quarterbacks has never watched a Lions game. So if you guys haven't seen this, you're gonna be in for a treat. I actually hope you haven't. This is like a week old, so this isn't like something that's just going all around. Maybe it already has, and I just was late to the party because I saw it today. But if you haven't seen this is pretty good. Now, they do have a NFL quarterback annual thing they put together, and they do say that some of this is like the finishing touches, basically, to the rankings. And I have access to that, which is actually pretty sweet. So we'll roll through all Goff stuff on there. I just think it's cool to look at. They have past years on there as well, but like mainly from 2025. I think there's good stuff. Actually, the main thing that stands out is some of the grades that have changed. Like, there's a lot of things about Goff that have kind of stayed the same, which I think is a good thing. You know exactly what you're getting for the most part. But there's a few things that have changed with Goff's grade, specifically last year, because of like how he played offensively, because of the situation that we were in. And it's kind of cool to see that. Like, okay, this is how we always perceive. This is when things are best. But actually, if you just are taking PFF at their word, he wasn't his best in that scenario. And that's always where we think about him at his best. And I think that's just kind of cool because it gives you an idea of how, I guess, different last year was, and not necessarily in a good way. I don't know if I want to, I want to say in a good way because he doesn't run the ball well. But anyways, there's a lot of that's going to. All right, let's jump into this. I'm yapping. We got to get going, man. Let's get into this ranking thing. Okay, let me not give, well, you're going to see it anyway. I just want to start here first and kind of read through their criteria. We can roll through all the rankings and talk about these guys, but I just want to focus on the criteria first if you haven't seen this, because this makes my arguments is using their criteria. Otherwise, like, again, I don't have any, like, if you're just, anyways, it's for 2026. Okay, so they're saying it's for 2026. It says no position shapes an NFL franchise more than quarterback. No evaluation is more difficult than separating the league's elite from the rest. Okay, see, now this is interesting. I didn't read that before. Are they setting us up? So like, hey, we actually didn't. I don't know. I didn't read that before. For PFF's 2026 NFL quarterback rankings, our analysts came together to build a consensus list. So this isn't one guy. This is as a group. This is like the average or something. Which quarterback would you want most leading your team entering 2026 season? Okay, so this is when I hear that, I think of a projection. But to me, that also means you have to take everything into account. But I also don't know exactly how they did that because they're like, hey, we're basing this on the last 3 years in these three categories primarily. But then also, who do you want leading your team? And a few of these guys, they mentioned the supporting cast. So it's kind of weird. It's hard to follow a little bit. That's okay, though. It makes more interesting conversation. If it was just like, hey, what's his grade? That's his ranking. Like, that'd be boring. The rankings are built around 3 seasons of performance. Okay, some of these guys don't have 3 seasons of performance. I'm going to throw it out there just because they haven't been in the league for 3 years. And the disappointing element to that is a couple of those guys are ahead off, which to me was like, that's kind of messed up. Like, I'd get it if the dude like cooked both years and you're like, okay, we can make a really strong case this guy's better. But when you don't have that, and for me, I'm a little bit like, I don't know what we're doing. But anyways, that's not that important. Again, it's for 2026. Here's the rankings. They said the rankings are built around 3 seasons of performance. PFF passing grade, wins above replacement, or WAR, WAR, and EPA per dropback forming the foundation. And then they give us the link to the NFL quarterback annual thing. So I want to go there first. Okay, I want to go there first. Let me actually read what they said about Goff, and then we'll go to the quarterback thing they have. Here's the rankings. Allen 1. Actually, I didn't even focus at the top here. The fact that they have Burrow 2. That's interesting. I mean, this is a year ago. The only real knock was Burrow in the South. Yeah, I mean, this makes it clear that it's truly just based. I mean, I don't want to say truly just based on that, but like it is the idea of here's who we want heading into 2026, because we're not really accounting for durability here, seemingly, with some of these rankings, because certain guys on here have just been hurt all the time. They didn't really account for that. It doesn't feel like, especially if Burrow is at 2. But okay, whatever. Lamar's at 3. Like, to me, I don't know how he's at 3 after last year. So you're a Lamar believer, and you're really taking into account the 3-year stretch. You have to be, because last year wasn't that good. Like, do they account for Lamar not throwing with anticipation across the like? And here's the thing too, bro. Some of these dudes, man, like everybody, they got their own. They play the game differently. Like, we know that. It's not even just running though. It's like even their passing concepts aren't the same. And you're like, this is different than like what Goff is asked to do. And like even with Mahomes, there's like things that he misses. Like there's certain things I think Mahomes misses that I think Goff would hit. But there's also the flip side where Mahomes does so much, which when he just starts moving around, that Goff just wouldn't do, at least not very often. So I can understand where it's difficult there. But anyways, Lamar's at 3. I think that's crazy. Honestly though, again, it speaks to like they're truly just like, oh, here's what we like most. Patrick Mahomes at 4. He's another one where it's like, I don't know how he's at 4 after last year. But this is the first one, at least that I saw, that they like really brought up supporting cast. So as soon as I read this, I was like, okay, so yeah, we are really focused on what's around him, because they can see right here, there were legitimate reasons for the MVP's decline, though. See, now, I can't bring any of this up with Goff. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there. They ain't bring none of this up. The Chiefs ranked just 21st in both receiving and rushing grades, which is not good, by the way. I don't know where we ranked in those categories. Actually, we might have to look into that. I don't know. But it could, hey, receiving grade, I know we were like near top of the league. So we might have been first. We were first, second. We were up near the top. Rushing grade, yeah, no. But receiving, we would have been close to the top. Anyway, though, I think a huge part of this, too, is like, what was their peak, I guess? So, like, I guess maybe it's like, hey, what was their, what makes more sense for this list? Is if they're basing a lot of this on like, we have this 3-year sample size. We don't want to go too far out of that. So say, the guys like Stafford, we're not going to go to 2013 to make, his ranking or whatever. But we have the last 3 years. If he has like a peak within those 3 years where he was amazing, we know he's capable of that. So that heavily weighs where we would lean. That could be somewhat understandable because, like, especially for these top few, Goff's peak is not where some of these other guys are at. Like he doesn't match up there, which is fair. It's really good, but it's not like that, at least in terms of their grades. But maybe that's more valued here than consistency, I guess. Consistency, yeah, I think that's the right word. Stafford at 5, Love at 6. Honestly, I didn't really look too much into this one. Love was good last year, so I don't really have a problem. But anyways, he's at 6. Dak 8. These all kind of make sense. Drake May at 9. Just kind of feels weird. Like there's no shot I'm taking Purdy over Goff. Stop playing. I do like Purdy though. And this is where I get to the point where it's like once we get from 10 on, I'm not really like there's none of these guys I would take over. I mean, it's not even. But anyways, and I feel like Darnold's low. As a fan that just watches the games, to me, Darnold feels low here. Like after last season, like how is Darnold not above Daniels? Like I would take Darnold above Daniels. I mean, personally, I would take him above Caleb Williams. He was awesome. Anyway, he's been awesome for 2 years. I feel like. Okay, this is the first one that got me. We're gonna get to this. The Jalen Hurts one I got a big problem with. I got a big problem with this one, but let me read Goff's first. So this is Goff. Here we go. And they don't even say anything bad about it. Goff's average time to throw is 2.57 seconds, tied for the second fastest in the league in 2025. His EPA on zero graded throws ranks second as well per attempt. Numbers reflect a quarterback who functions as an extraordinarily efficient system executor. Okay, that's the breakdown. Now, again, there's nothing they say bad about him. He has done nothing but stuff the stat sheet. Leads the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns since 2022. I'm cool with, like, they didn't even have to bring that up, to be honest. I mean, I see this on like Facebook every day. Ranked sixth among qualifying quarterbacks in PFF WAR since 2023, which again is kind of weird because that's the 3-year span, 25, 23. So if he's there, like, immediately, you got it, like, it's going off a little bit. Like, wait a minute, then why is he 16? Did you just, this is like 1/3 of the grade. Why is he 16? His accuracy was outstanding. First and uncatchable, pass rate. I have my, I don't want to say reasons. I have my beliefs on why he is where he is, because I feel like rankings usually play this way, and it really ties together. Before we get into my gripes, but it really does tie together. It's two things for me. Here's where I believe why, like, PFF specifically would rank a guy like Goff like this, and I think a lot of people do this too. It's if you're taking that 3-year stretch and we're saying at his peak, at his best, what is he capable of doing? I think that's where Goff gets knocked. Now, does that really matter necessarily, especially if you're looking at it from a full game sample size? You're saying the entire next season. I don't know that it should hold that much weight because I'd rather have the guy that I'm like, hey, game in and game out, I'm kind of getting the same dude. And it's not that I'm getting the same guy that's average. Like, I'm getting a very good quarterback, the same guy feels like every week. But it's almost like, well, within these years, at his very best, what is he capable of? I mean, now we've seen Goff at his very best within these 3 years have like perfect games passing the ball. So it's just a different way to look at it. But that's what it feels like. And I think the biggest stat that I always come back to with these things, and they didn't mention it here, but you'll see it, 2% turnover-worthy play rate. So that was, I believe it was 4th best in the league. And that's this back-to-back years of that being very low. That's pretty consistent with him in his career. I think 2 years ago it was kind of high, but like this, for the most part, that's usually where he's at. But the problem is he has that 2.7% big-time throw percentage. And that's the area where he's very low. He doesn't have very high percentage there, and he never really does. I don't know if he's ever had a very high percentage there. Maybe like with the Rams in 18 or something. I think it was like maybe closer to 4, but it's never been super high. And I think because of that, it weighs heavily on these rankings. And I think that's fine if that's laid out. The problem that I have is you gave us those 3 categories. And now, so when we look at Jared Goff's stats by PFF, go through these 3 categories. Now I'm going to go through these 3 categories. And then we'll dive into my problems that I have with it. And then we'll watch some clips too, just because. If Goff had 3 sexy plays a season, he would be top 5. Completely agree. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what's missing, I think, from all of this. Like, and here's the thing too, which is the tough part about this. If Goff would like if you're like, well, if you just had the higher big time throw percentage, like if that moved him up, the problem with that though would be he would turn the ball over a lot more. And then all the efficiency stuff would probably fall. You know what I mean? Like, because as soon as that happens, he would start making more mistakes because that's not his game. It's to, let me rip that tight window throw. Like, he might give you a handful of those, but it's not going to be that consistent. And if he does that more often than not, it's probably going to be bad. So it's like him doing that, yeah, it might move that percentage up, but you know those turnover plays are flying up for him as well. So it's like, then you're asking him to do something that he's not great at, which I don't think makes sense. You know, obviously, I mean, that would hurt what he's really good at. So it makes no sense. But anyways, okay, I really want to dive into this, though, because this thing is, there's so much here. There's so much here. And here's my gripe without even going, like, player versus player yet. The problem that I have overall, and you're going to see it, is that Jared Goff last season, as I pointed out when we just got started here, like, last year showcased a different Jared Goff. So if you look at PFF grades and what he's typically thought of as here's where he's at his best, this is the situation you need him in. Everybody says the same thing about Goff. Play action, not under pressure. Like when it's always the same conversation. And I've talked about the under pressure thing in the past, but the play action thing, I get kind of frustrated with hearing it because it's 100% true that if you run the ball well, and I actually have a clip that I think demonstrates this. It's easier, right? And we didn't run the ball well. That's why Dan is talking about it all offseason. But the fact that Goff actually graded out better this year when he wasn't in play action versus play action sets, to me, now again, I'm biased, obviously, but that would make me move Goff higher because I'd be like, wait a minute. Now we know when they run the ball well, he's elite play action. That's all everybody talks about. Wait, if he's better when it's drop back, then how is he 16? Like, he's got to move up because now he's doing something that we don't typically put with Jared Goff. You know what I mean? And now he's not doing it maybe the same way as everybody else with all these big time throws, but he's more doing it with decision making. And I got some great clips for that. The eyes, like that stuff has gotten way better, by the way. Okay, let's go. Hey, there's so much here. Let's jump into this. Okay, I want to show you guys these grades if you haven't seen them. So let's focus on the big three that they told us that this was based on. Here's the big three. Over the 3-year stretch, this is where he ranks in terms of pass grades. Now, notice, in none of these is he ranked 16 or lower. Okay? 9th last season, 6th 2 years ago, 14th at his worst, and he's ranked 16. Keep that in mind. You know, none of these is he ranked 16 or lower. So immediately I'm like, wait a minute, this seems kind of weird. I mean, this is a big factor of your rankings, and it's like, okay, but he's okay. Anyways, let's go to WAR award. Now, this one, 24, you know, hey. But if we're talking peak, I mean, he does have a 6 in there. 6, 8 last season. I don't know. I tend to value, like, I thought Jared Goff was really good to end last year. But even this, like 6, 25th, 8, I think that would have to average better than 16th. I don't know the math on that, but that would have to average better than 16th. But also, when you start comparing him to other quarterbacks, you're like, wait a minute. This is very similar to some of the quarterbacks on here. So you have those two stats, and then we have EPA. And this one's weird because it doesn't actually it doesn't directly compare. Like, that's career. So I don't know how these compare exactly, but I can say that these are NFL averages. And over the last 3 years versus the average, he's well above average in EPA per drop back. I guess we can pull up another quarterback to maybe give some context to that. Those are the three main stats, well above average the last 3 seasons. I mean, really last 4. And then they have him at 16. So that's the first thing that's kind of weird to kind of add to what I pointed out earlier. So this is the problem. To me, this is why he ranks where he does. Did they show the players? Okay, they do. See, and this is interesting too. This would be worth going through because if you look at these quarterbacks that are low on big time throw percentage, Justin Fields, Lamar. Well, shoot. I mean, wait a minute. Why is Lamar 3? I didn't expect to see Lamar there. Okay, he wasn't good last year. So, okay, Penix, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Dylan Gabriel. Who is this? Who's my guy over here? No, wait. We got to find out. Wait, chat. Give me a guess. Who? Wait, time out. Before we keep going here, I didn't peep the circle at the top left. Who is this? Who do we think this is? Who's chilling there? Who is that? Is that? Can't be Tua. Tua doesn't turn the ball. Is that Tua? No, Tua doesn't turn the ball over enough for that. Okay, I don't know. I don't know who this is, but I'm intrigued. Let's see. Brady Cook. Okay. All right. See, I wasn't even thinking. Okay, that makes sense. This is the problem, though, by the way. This is why Goff gets ranked 16. Because even though his turnover-worthy play rate is in a great spot, JJ McCarthy, that wasn't a bad guess. Even though this is in a great spot, it's one of the top in the league. I think it's 4th. 1, 3, 4. Yeah, 4th. It's that he doesn't have the big-time throw percent. And we've gotten into this before, right? Like, it matters if that's how your offense matters, I think. And it doesn't for us because we don't play that way. Like, we've made it work to Goff's strength. So we haven't, like, lived on the, oh, yes, make those throws. Okay, anyways. Then I want to go to, now I want to start digging in the weeds a little bit because there's so much to go into here. So much here. Here's the accuracy stats, by the way. This is what they were pointing out. 4th in terms of accurate throw percentage. 1st in terms of uncatchable and inaccurate throw percentage. Catchable but inaccurate, 14. Okay, I don't know really how much that one matters. Perfectly accurate. I guess this is middle of the pack. Perfectly accurate throws. Don't know the head separator on that. And then other. I have no idea what other means. But there you go. And then it shows why he missed throws. Defense caused it. Other. Receiver error. Again, these don't really have rankings, so I don't have much to do with that. But you can see, accuracy-wise, should be higher than 16. And then here's the one that catches my eye, I think, because this is, well, actually, this is interesting, too, that they put this on there. Notice, left tackle, 30th in the league in terms of pressures from the left tackle spot. I mean, it's higher at left guard, but that's because it's guard. But the fact that it's here, like, I saw this, and it wasn't all Taylor Decker, because I think Decker missed some time last year. But just seeing that to me was like, yeah, like Manu played. You know, that was a rough one against Cincinnati, so I'm sure this got ballooned by games like that. But ultimately, I did see this, and I'm thinking to myself, like, ooh, that is kind of rough. I guess right tackle at 42nd, at 10%, though. Wait, is this good or bad? Actually, I don't even know. 10% caused by the right tackle, 42nd. Man, Sewell's getting cooked like that. I don't know. Anyways, let's keep it moving. So that's what I want to focus on. I want to go to the play action thing real quick. 10% isn't even bad, by the way. That doesn't feel bad, but I guess maybe it is. I don't know. I want to go to the play action thing. So this is interesting. So this is the first thing that's like, okay, you would never expect to see this. When people talk about Goff, this is not what you would expect to see. No play action 10th passing grade. Play action 16th. Okay. I wanted to go there because to me, this is the reason I'd have him higher. This alone. Because every year his numbers are very similar. He's the same guy. But the fact that this is up kind of goes against what the idea has always been of Goff in terms of where he's at his best. And it has to be play action. And it's got to be. But like he was really good drop back. And obviously we all saw that. So like we've seen it at times. We've seen it in games where it's like, okay, Lions are a drop back passing team this game. Like we've seen that in the past. I always go to Tampa Bay a few years ago. Like we've seen games like that where that's been the strategy. But last season, it wasn't like, hey, here's a game that we should play like this. It was, hey, we can't run the ball. Like, so at the end of the season, that's what we were. We were drop back. It was no play action, shotgun. That's what our offense was built in. And that's why I think it's not surprising those numbers work out that way. And to add to that, in shotgun, if you look at the stats here, when Jared Goff was in shotgun last year, 9th versus under center at 14th. I think those speak to the same truth as well. I mean, there is play action in shotgun, but it's not the same. So, and it's not as often, obviously. So, two stats, that would make me move Goff higher, okay? Because immediately and we saw it last year, it's more stress on him. You're not getting the effectiveness of, we're to run it so well, so it's such an easy, like, he's doing it. And I'll show some clips, and then we'll get into my disagreements ranking-wise. But I want to give context by showing clips. Plus, I haven't showed clips in a minute. Jordy said, just look at the tape. Let's do that. I'm gonna show bad, too. I'm going to show, like, 5 plays, and I picked one game. I took the Minnesota game because it wasn't great. 18 of 29, had 2 picks. We lost the game. By the way, that was one of the ugliest football games. That might have been the ugliest football game I've seen in a minute. That took me back to like when we lost 40-7. That was a punt return. That was ugly. But I do want to look through some of these, and I want to show the good and bad because I think it gives good perspective to what we're talking about here. KV Alto with the 5-piece. KV Alto with the 5-piece. Hey man, let's get some birthday cakes in chat for KV Alto, man. I appreciate you, dude. It's good to see you in the chat. It's been too long since we've streamed. Okay, it's been way too long. But I'm glad we're here, and I appreciate you, man. If you got a membership and you know it, man, give some love to KV Alto. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, I gotta lock in here, KV Alto. This is for you. This one is sponsored to KV Alto with the 5-piece. All right, and this is a good one, so this one works. Okay. Now look, I don't know. Like when I see a play like this could have been, more game plan related, the game prep related. But when I play like this is the kind of thing that immediately clicks with me where I'm like, okay, we can look at the numbers or the big time throw percentage. And it's like, well, Goff isn't having these big time throws. He's not throwing these tight window passes, but he's doing these things. And it's like, it's to me, it's his own version of a big time throw. As basic as this is, to me, this is his own version of big time throw. This is where he's at his best. If he was forcing tight window throws and he was throwing picks, that would not be him at his best. Now, he forced some, and that's usually where the picks would come from. I'll show you an example. But anyways, and actually we'll tie all this together. But look at this. Very first pass we have of the game. Y'all may remember this. We know that Minnesota brings the heat. They get after it. So they bring a cornerback blitz here. So top corner blitzes, it's a run, but there's a pass option set up off it, and you just have St. Brown leak out. It could have been more of a game prep play design kind of idea that this was going to be attached. But you can see his eyes. Sees the cornerback take off. It's going to be an unblocked player. And Goff just floats it over him for 11 yards. Like, that's obviously not a big-time throw, okay? But it was a big-time decision. And so, to me, in his own right, that's a Jared Goff big-time throw. It's just his own way of doing it. Now, there actually are some of these that I think are definitely big-time throws. A few of these. Like for example, this one, I think you could I'm at the wrong play right now. Hold up. I forgot these were not in order. Let me go down a little bit. 48 seconds. 48. Was it 45? Yeah, it's 45. Okay, I have the number wrong. 45 seconds. Okay. Actually, this is a second play. Dang, we only had 2 plays in the first quarter. What the heck? Hey, we only had 3 passes in the first quarter. What were we doing? This game was a disaster. Anyways, this one's pretty great. Okay. Minnesota's bringing it. We had so many protection issues. So obviously someone brought up the O-line earlier. I mean, in this game, man, it was like assignment issues. We weren't even picking up blitzes at all, and our plan was garbage. Kingsley and the running back, they get the twist. We get messed up front. But like this is a play that I don't think this counts as a big time throw. But this is the kind of thing Goff was doing last year in terms of like putting more on his shoulders. This is why I thought it was such a good stretch, and I thought you can make the case it was his best stretch of football. Obviously, not statistically. Like this game or plays like this, like the stat line's nowhere near like the Seattle game when he was a perfect passer. But some of these plays, he didn't make plays like this against Seattle. I go through all 18 completions where he was perfect. He didn't make plays like this. And so that's where it's like, okay, I get the stat thing. Obviously, if we were going based on stats, he'd be first or near the top because he's got all the raw stats. But like stuff like this, like I'll take this. To feel the pressure, move out of it. Like this is not normally what Goff does. This is beyond what Jared Goff does. And he did this a lot last year. The Cleveland game, he had that big one to St. Brown. I think it was on the 3rd and long. We had those a lot last year, actually. This is one of my favorites because this is where, like, within our system, I think Goff is like his comfortability is clearly in a great spot. To run the dagger concept here against the Tampa 2 and Harrison Smith, like to just wait on him, to be patient for this one. He takes a big 2, I'm pretty sure, on the top here. But like you can see Harrison Smith clearing, and he kind of just waits for him. And then to hit this pass is a huge conversion. I mean, this game alone, like the way we scored I can remember the way we scored in this first half. It was like, bro, we honestly shouldn't have points right now. This was completely like relying on huge throws and massive 3rd down and long pickups. It was so bad. Efficiency wise, we had none at the team. And we lost this game, but our touchdown drive was like a complete bailout over and over. And it was plays like this, realistically, like his eyes, letting him clear Harrison Smith, trusting it, not getting off it. Like these were the kind of throws, man. This is big time for Goff. So we got a lot of I have 2 more of these I want to show just to give some different examples here. Another 3rd down and long, 3rd and 9. And even like the little things like this. These are the little things that I love. Again, they go cover 3 with their blitz here. I think they only dropped 4 out on this play. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly. I know it's a heavy blitz. I think they only dropped 4. Maybe they dropped 3. I don't know. But regardless, you'll see it in the flat here. They bring their flat defender right here. So they dropped 1 and 4. My bad. This wasn't even a blitz. It was just straight cover 3. Cover 3 buzz. But anyways, he runs to the flat. Watch Goff's eyes here, man. Like this kind of thing. So he reads the single high. Knows he's got one-on-one on the outside. Steps out of the pressure here. And then he puts his eyes to the flat. And as soon as he dives, he hits the curl. Like, it's nothing crazy. But that's something that I would like. You know what I mean? Like, for him, this was Goff at his peak, bro. These are multiple throws in the same game where it's like, hey, this is some good stuff here. And it's not by, like, him hitting a tight window or making some ridiculous throw or, like, avoiding a sack. I mean, he's sliding in the pocket. It's more of that. I mean, he is avoiding a sack, I guess. But, like, to keep the eyes downfield, and it's just a little extra is what I fall in love with. To see it just slide out, and then right here, like that little extra just to look there to get the linebacker to dive right here. And then when he slides up, now he's got this pass. Like that. Come on, man. How do you not love that? What are we talking about, dude? You're telling me this guy, like, this was Goff at his peak, bro. Now I'm going to show some plays that weren't at this. But even a play like this, like, and this is where it's like, okay, the turnover-worthy play rate, it's because he protects the ball. And he still actually had the highest adjusted completion percentage in the NFL last season, by the way. Highest in football last year. But, like, even plays like this, he just kind of dirts that one, which is like, yeah, it's ugly, but I'm cool with it. You didn't throw a pick. Now, to be fair, I'm going to show the 2 picks he threw. And the second one I don't think is very we've already went through this, but I don't think the second one it's not good. It's bad. But I think it gives you an idea to how ineffective our play action actually was. Like, I watched it back today. I was like, ooh, we cannot run the ball. And you can tell. Like, this was a bad pick. First off, though, let's keep in mind the situation. All right, it's 3rd and 18. This is not a good spot to be in. 3rd and 18. And he takes the shot. Now, I remember when we broke this down, I was like, well, a team did this earlier against Minnesota, and they had a big shot. I think it was the Giants that did this earlier in the year. And they may have connected on it, maybe not, but, like, it was there. And this is one where, like, if you've seen that film, taking the shot, I would actually been okay with this for Goff. He did. But also, this is like the flip side where it's like, well, if he makes a lot of these throws or he tries to, or if not, he's not going to make the throw. Now, again, protection breakdowns. We let the inside guy free, leave the outside guy on both sides. I mean, this side specifically, Andrew Van Ginkel's completely free to the quarterback, which is a disaster. So that's not good. But the free safety kind of parks a little bit here. Right here, he starts to dive. And so Goff just heaves it on this vertical shot. I mean, and you're watching that, you're like, okay, I could see how that could work out if he had the arm for it. He didn't have the arm for it. And that's why he gets picked. He couldn't keep it away from the defenders. So bad decision. 3rd and 18. It is essentially a punt, but it still wasn't a good decision. Regardless, though, the protection issues too. This is the one though where like that first one I can live with that. Whatever, he kind of deceived it. This one is not as good. You can see by his frustration. But I also think that it does kind of give you a glimpse into how poor play action could have been for us last year. So they go cover 2 here, which even that alone, we should dice it up, and we couldn't. We should dice it up running the football, and we couldn't. But watch the safeties. Like, I feel no eyes even go to the backfield here. Like, there's no fear. It doesn't seem like from these guys that this is going to be a run. I mean, immediately safety stepping over the receivers. There's, like, no fear that we're going to hand this off. Oh, no, he might. Like, there's none. And they don't bite. Now, Goff, that doesn't explain away, like, oh, it's fine that he threw this. He shouldn't have thrown this. Aaron Smith is looking right at it. But there's nobody's biting on the play fake. The safeties aren't at all. There's no attention being given there. And so Harrison does what Harrison does and jumps, and you can see Goff's frustration there. But regardless, I thought that was a good glimpse into, like, yeah, that's what was missing last year. That's what was missing. So the fact that, again, he was better when not in play action situations, I think speaks volumes, because the expectation is he's always going to be good there. And, he was better in the other spot. So immediately that's the first problem I have. Now, second problem I have is this guy. And I can just point out a few. Just because. Why is Jalen Hurts above Jared Goff? I need to take a second on this one. Because to me, this one has to just be like, oh, well, he won that Super Bowl and he was awesome in the Super Bowl in that playoff run. Like that, his peak was so good. Because like, there's no way I would put it like, what are we? First off, the biggest issue with this, none of his grades, and these aren't my grades. He grades out lower than Jared Goff in every single category that they listed over the entire 3-year stretch. Every single one that PFF was like, hey, these are the 3 factors. He's worse than Goff at all of them every year, and yet he's above him, which I'm like, I don't understand how that's possible. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Now, I understand he can run better than Goff, so maybe that's the thing, but then they knock him for like, well, he didn't run that well last year. Like, look at these. Look at this. Look how crazy this is. PFF passing grades, lower every year. PFF WAR grades, lower every year. All right, even his peak, lower every year. And then EPAs, lower every year. I'm like, I don't understand how he's above Goff. I thought we were like using these, and if you're using these, like, I can understand if there's a tiebreaker because it's tight. These aren't even tight. It's very clear his is way better. So that one throws me off, and the explanation is they didn't knock anything about Goff. Which is also kind of to the point of like, hey, man, if it was a pickup game, like, would you pick Goff? Like, is there a world in which you lined up the 32 starting quarterbacks and you were just doing a pickup game that Goff goes 16? Yes. That wouldn't be shocking. But I think when you start taking into account supporting, that's what you're expecting for 26, and specifically, is the system built for that guy, which it is for Goff here. It's why Saints also, I think, so good here. He'd be good anywhere, but another part of that reason, but like is built for his skill set. They don't ask him to do things that he's not going to do well for the most part. So to me, it's kind of weird because like, okay, maybe I could see a pickup game where they took Hurts over Goff because you'd be like, well, he can take off. Maybe they think he throws a better deep ball or something. But they even say in this, posted a top 12 passing grade for his 4th consecutive season. Again, now we're throwing a 4th season in, which they said didn't matter. But anyways, the 6 interceptions, I guess he had less interceptions than Goff, but he also had like a higher expected, I think, interception rate than Goff, which is easy part too, which is weird. Goff had like 8, I think. And then he also pointed out like he will refuse to throw it over the middle. And he only averaged 4 yards a carry. I'm like, I don't really understand how he's above Goff here. So this is the one where it's like, hey, out of all of them, I can't go with this one because I don't know how he got to this conclusion. If you said this is just a guy that I want personal preference, I think he brings more to the table, whatever. But when you tell us those are the 3 main categories, you can't then do this because it doesn't make any sense, man. I'm not even going to get into the Jane Daniels thing. He wasn't good last year. He was also hurt. Like, would he be above Goff for me? No. But like, at this point, it's like, what am I even arguing now? I don't know how to pick a side now because they just told me like, it doesn't really matter. Like, because I go to the Mahomes one. And I understand. This is like the clearest example. Like, yeah, if you went off of last year, you could take Goff, but everybody would take Mahomes. Okay, that's fine. But this is where it kind of throws me off too, because it's like, okay, but he hasn't been that great in the last few years. I also think that Mahomes misses a lot of things. I personally think that. I see, but regardless, I don't have an issue with him being higher than Goff. I think you can make that case. But again, if you're looking at like what he actually produced, they're very similar across all three of those main statistics, and not like raw stats. All three of those, because raw stats Goff hasn't beat, but all three of those years in terms of the advanced statistics that PFF is using, they're very similar across the board. The difference is Goff ranks better in terms of accuracy. I'm sure Mahomes would rank better in terms of under pressure, or maybe like, and obviously probably big time throw percentage. Even though I don't think it's actually that. I don't even think it's that like substantial. It might have been like 2.7%. I don't even think it's that massive. So that one, like, even to me, like, okay, you take Goff, you can take Mahomes over above Goff, that's fine. But the reasoning for it, I don't know that you actually laid it out. Like Caleb Williams above Goff, like, no, I wouldn't put Caleb above Goff either, personally. And I mean, it's just looking at the grades again too. Lower pass grades in both of his 2 years than Jared Goff. And you can just go through the list for most of these. EPAs, both of his years have been lower than Jared Goff's. So there's that issue as well. None of the three projected categories would you give Caleb the nod over Jared Goff. So, like, where are we here again? Right? It's because of the upside, I guess. Like, oh, year 3 is going to cook. I mean, like, and I honestly can get behind that more. Like, the whole Drake May thing is like, oh, they're going to take a big step this year. They're so young. I can get behind that more. You're buying into Ben. You're buying into the supporting cast. I got no problem with that. But it's like, the guys like Jalen Hurts, like, okay, wait a minute. They just lost A.J. Brown. Why is he above Goff? That's the one that gets me. That's the one that has me shook. I'm like, I don't understand what we're doing. But anyway, I thought that was just kind of worth going through to give some perspective. Ultimately here, I do have a little money on Goff winning the MVP this year. Unfortunately, I think things like this is also a reason that, like, it's difficult because he's, as Jordy pointed out earlier, he's not flashy. So you're not going to get like those plays. But also, this is a gratitude live stream. I don't care about the rankings. I don't care about it, man. You know, because I think there's a way in which this could make sense. Like I said, if it was a pickup game, I think you can make this make sense. And I wouldn't even have a problem with that. I wouldn't have a problem with that argument. However, for our system, because we built it around him, and the fact I'm talking about an entire season, I feel like I know what I'm going to get. I've seen it consistently year after year. He actually showed some things last year statistically that I've seen on film, but like statistically, it actually now backs it up. I'm pretty happy with our guy, you know? So I just wanted to throw that out there. 16 is too low. I don't know how it ranks exactly, like, because you have to take into account like the situations that they're in. That makes it a little bit difficult because you're not just picking players. But obviously I would have it different. Like, I don't know. It'd be different. I'm only taking Mahomes, Burrow, uninjured Allen, Stafford over Goff. And I think that, like, obviously production-wise, that's fair. And I think it's the mix that he has to be in. He has to be. And it even goes to a guy like Dak. Like, I don't know how Dak grades necessarily, but, like, Dak's played at a high level last season. So I don't even have an issue with Dak being up there. I don't have a problem with Dak being up there. That's cool with me. But then we get to, like, the Trevor Lawrence and the Brock Purdy's. And, yeah, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know what we're doing here. Anyway, I would hate to be an OC with the quarterback doesn't throw with anticipation or middle. It would be limiting. It would be a problem. I don't know. I think we made it make sense though. So I'll leave it there. You know, I'll leave it there. I don't need to keep diving into this, but I think ultimately I made my point. I think I made that make sense. Chat, it's good to see y'all again, man. It's been too long since we've done a live stream. If you're just joining, feel free to run it back or go back because we just broke down the whole Goff ranking at 16 thing. That took a lot longer than I thought it would, by the way. But yeah, I think that was necessary. And now we're getting ready for training camp. I'll probably do some sort of like training camp battle thing. I don't know. I want to do that, but I also kind of like doing the individual player thing too, because I feel like if I do training camp battles, it's hard for me to project anything without looking at them individually, like the DJ Wanham video. So I'll probably continue to do those just to get a better outlook on who we actually have, what I think we actually have on the roster. Like, I really want to dive into Larry Borum. I really want to do that. I don't think he's going to start. I think ideally he doesn't start, but I kind of want to look into it more. And then also Roger McCreary. McCreary's tough because he just doesn't have a lot of film, especially from last year. So I'm going to have to go back a little bit and put a lot of emphasis on past years, which is a little tough. I don't know. And Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark's the other guy. Chuck Clark's kind of a must. He has enough film out there where it's like, I really want to see if I think he can start or not. Like specifically with our injuries, is he starting, or is one of these other guys going to take his spot? That's the other thing I want to dive into. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to leave it there, man. I think we made our point. I appreciate y'all joining. Shout out to KV Alto with the 5-piece, man. If he got one, show some love to him. And I'm going to end it there, man. If there's nothing else to go into, I think we're gonna wrap it there. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on this side. I did take. I don't think. My man said, "Oh no, okay, that's not okay." Oh yeah, the top 100. Now I haven't really been keeping up with that. I saw Jack Campbell's at 88. Feels low. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, feels low. I don't know like how far they're into these rankings. Purdy's already been on it. Like Goff's got to be in there. I don't know though. That'll also give us perspective on like how I guess his peers think of him. I'm curious if he's in the top 100. He should be. I feel like he was last year. I feel like he was before the season last year. That would have made sense that he would have been. But I definitely, I feel like the Jack Campbell at 88 was kind of crazy low, especially when you look at some of the guys that were ahead of him. Like Tuli Pelotu was above him, which I like Tuli too. But is he better than Jack Campbell at his position? Is he better than Jack Campbell? Golf in the top 100? Oh, he's definitely going to be in. Well, see, and now that's the difference, right? Because I think a lot of people consider last year as a big step back. So will he be in there? I think that's I mean, you guys know where I stand, but I think that's how people look at it. We got to run the ball better. I think that's how people look at it. Yo, let's watch this Jack Campbell thing quick. If this isn't, you going to drop to 40? You're probably right. Yo, I want to watch this Jack Campbell thing. If this isn't copyrighted, we're going to react to this. Because I haven't seen this yet.
2 Iowa guys. Jack Campbell.
Jackie, yeah.
Why is he so good?
Captain Jack.
That was the guy I looked up to when I came into college. It's more the way he's wired, like the way he.
Hopefully, they don't play music
when he plays the game. How aggressive he is.
I always like that little graphic. That graphic's tough.
I mean, he big guy.
6 foot. Nah, that's copyright, bro. I know that's copyright, dog. Dang it, man. Why do they do that? I just want to hear him talk.
First team All-Pro this past year.
Okay, wait. We can watch. Oh, is this copyright too? Yo, I don't even know. Okay, honestly, I'm not going to react to it. I don't even know. All right, chat. We're going to get out of here, man. Have a great rest of your night. I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned for more probably individual player breakdown kind of stuff, and maybe more live streams. If topics come up, obviously we'll do them, but they need to pop up. So if you guys ever got anything, man, make sure you tag me on something, and we'll see where we go from there. But it's getting to that time where it's time to lock in. Okay, it's about lock-in time. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to lock in and get this stuff rolling. But anyways, I appreciate you joining. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great night. I'm out.